What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Frost Buddy podcast, where we talk all things business, entrepreneurship, personal development, and you know what? We're just getting better at life. We're just getting better through experiences, through life, through everything that it throws at us. And I'm your host, Brock Moser, and you know what? We got a good one today. Sorry, I've been gone for a little bit. Had a couple things. I found out that it's a lot easier. It would be a much easier if your entire business was podcasting, or if your entire business was an online course teaching people how to be better at business. It'd be I'd have a lot more time to do these things, to do podcasts, to do newsletters, to do the things I want to do. But when you're actually running a business, which is what a lot of the gurus aren't doing, you don't have time for that. And you got to make time. I know, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that, I've been bad about making the time for it. So I got to do better, making a schedule and getting it in there, because we finally passed 2,000 downloads for the podcast, which is super exciting. We're up to almost an average of like 300, 400 downloads an episode now. So, definitely growing. Thank you. Keep sharing the show. That's what I say every episode. Just, I'm not doing anything else to promote this other than just word of mouth. If you think there's some value, if you like it, if it's entertaining, whatever you think, if you think someone else could like it, then I just ask that you share the show, because I love doing it and I love seeing the growth. If you've listened to other episodes, like, I just love building. I think, getting that momentum, seeing it and hearing from people that they love it and that they're, getting some value out of it. Like, that's what keeps me going. That's what I love to do. So, keep sharing it, and let's see if we can get this thing bigger and bigger, because that's the goal, right? Got to keep going. But today I got a question that someone sent in, that someone asked, and I thought it'd be a good one. So we're going to dive into it a little bit. And so here, let me pull up the question. But they basically said, growing up, I was in a small town, Newton, Illinois, really tiny. But that allowed me to, growing up, do all sorts, four different sports in high school: baseball, basketball, football, track and field. If you've listened to others, I pole vaulted at Indiana University in college. But then obviously, faith is a very big part of my life. Family is a very big part of my life. Community, friends, and then adding in sports, adding in, studying and trying to be a good student. All of these different things, right? So spreading yourself out. People talk about focusing. And I think in business, right, after you get out of all that stuff, it's like, oh, you should focus 100% on this. Okay. And like, for me, I've talked about that, right? Going all in on Frost Buddy and focusing in. But this does bring up a good point, is how do you juggle all of those different interests? And how do you juggle all of those different, I would say, obligations, and things that, if you do value them, if you do find them important, like I do, you have to make time for them. So how do I juggle that? And how do I go about life and looking at what's most important? So that's really interesting to me, and I want to talk a little bit about it, because how do I juggle all of that? And today it's still relevant in my life, right? So in high school, yes, I did that, but in today's world, like, I still absolutely love sports. I love to watch it. I love to play different things. Family's still everything to me. Faith is very important to me. So making time for God, making time to pray each day, learn, study the Bible more, and then obviously, like, if I don't have friends, you feel a little isolated. So to have that break, that stress relief is really, really nice. And then, still with Frost Buddy, right? I'm always studying marketing, or, entrepreneurship, or business, or it might be a segment like venture capital, something like that. Like, so that's still like school. It's still like studying, because I am just studying all the time and learning and trying to figure out these new things. And then, of course, just at the end of the day, Frost Buddy's a lot, like business is a lot. So, and then with our Facebook, I go community now, our Facebook group has got 9,000 people. So managing that, and I have to be very present in that every day, because, I want to be, no matter how big Frost Buddy gets, I want to be very personal with all of my customers. I want them to know me. I want them to feel like they know who I am inside and out, what I'm doing during the day. And people are like, oh, don't you want like that don't you not want people to know that? No, I do want people to know that, because the more that they know about who I am and who I am as a person and who my family is, like, the more they're going to trust my company, my products, and know that, like, it's not about the money. It's not about the even the products necessarily. It's about the community. It's about how everyone feels, and it's about how they feel a part of something that's just genuine. And it's like that small, I want to bring that small town feel, that small town love to our company, right? And so, yeah, it's really, really difficult to manage all of this. And I get very overwhelmed. But, at the end of the day, I think you just got to look at, okay, what's really, really important to me? What matters? And, to me, I couldn't do anything, right? So I'll take you back. I couldn't do anything if it wasn't for God, first and foremost. Like, I couldn't do anything without faith, because the second that I lose that, and I went through paths where like I was just so caught up in the day to day, so busy that I didn't have time. And it's stupid, right? That I didn't have time, but like I didn't think about the fact that I had time. And so like, if I'm not making that a priority first and foremost every morning, every night. So first thing when I wake up, think about that, maybe read a little bit. Recently started a new book, which kind of like a study Bible for men that I'm really, really interested in. I can link that in this podcast if anyone's interested, because, it's really helped to break down the Bible for me. And it's helped to, just for me, it's always confusing, right? It was really confusing forever, like growing up, even now, like, so it's really helped break it down piece by piece, chapter by chapter. And it's just really helped me to like understand more of like why things happen and like, what are they really trying to tell us, and how can I apply it to day to day? And for me, it's like, if I lose everything, if I lose Frost Buddy, it does not matter. It really doesn't matter, because it's all materialistic. And while yes, I absolutely am trying to grow it massively, I'm trying to grow it big, because that's just who I am, right? I have that drive, I have that discipline. But at the end of the day, if it all just goes to shit, if it all just falls down and crumbles down, I still have my faith to rely on. I still have that hope, and I still know that like the meaning of my life is not just all this money that I'm trying to generate with Frost Buddy. Like, it's not it. So that has to be, in my opinion, and this is my life, that has to be my first step, right? If I don't have that, like, it's not there, right? And I'm going to get to that point where it's a really empty hole. And so, even in high school and college, like, that was still an important part. And then finding people that, also have that in their life and that feel that way and that are wanting to learn and wanting to talk, that's your community. That's my community, right? To find those people that genuinely, because guess what? When you find those people, that they make you feel so loved, they make you feel welcome, they, are going to invite you to things, and they're going to have, morals and values that align with you. And when they have that, like, your life, you just can see and feel the joy. You can feel it, right? And you can it's a different feeling when you find those people, and that's your community, and you're just surrounding yourself with people that have those same beliefs. And even if it's not identical, it's great for conversation, great to have that, and just to learn and, to even disagree and to just kind of get further into those conversations, because that's what society should be built on, right? That's what it was built on. It's just different beliefs, but still coming together and still being together and just learning, growing, and learning how to, live while still having those different beliefs. So, again, long rant there, but like, faith absolutely is the most important thing that I can do, because then I have that foundation. I have that. So now I can go to work, right? I can do what I need to do every day, and I can just get after it, right? Because for me, I have nothing to lose, right? I have nothing. I don't have that much money. I don't have much to my name. And when you talk to most 20 to 30-year-olds, it's a beautiful thing, because when you talk to most people that as they get older, as they get families, and, maybe they've made more and more money, they have more to lose, and it's a more risk. There's just more risk involved. It's just inevitable, right? And so it'll inevitably happen with me too. But it's a blissful spot to be in, to go, hey, let's go big, and let's just get after it. Let's take the risks, because, that's the only way I'm going to learn. It's the only way. I don't want to look back and be like, well, I didn't go after that. I didn't go do that, do this. And so then that was the same way with sports. It was the same way with anything that you're working towards. If you're not going 100% all the time, like, do you really want to look back? Because time goes really fast. Like, 9 years of sports from high school through college went really, really freaking fast. And do you want to look back and be like, man, I didn't go for that. I didn't give everything I had because no, it's a terrible spot. And guess what? You don't get it back. I don't get this one shot at Frostbite back. I don't. Who knows? I might not get another business I might not get another product that's as genius as this, that as many people love as they do. So I have to make the most of it. I have to build upon it. And, that's just like, for me, you're going to work in something every day. You might not think it, but you're going to do something every single day. You're going to work towards it, work with it. And so you might as well find something you like and go all in and go hard, right? And so don't let back, don't have those regrets. And, so it is tough to juggle. For me, having, again, this comes back to having friends that understand, having a significant other that understands. Because there's going to be a lot of people in your life that don't understand the work you're putting in towards something you love, whether that is sports, whether that is a business. It doesn't matter, but there's going to be a lot of people that don't get it because, quite frankly, they don't want to see you separate from them. They don't want to see you get further. But like for me, my girlfriend right now, like she supports me 100% in what I'm doing. And if it takes time away from us, but she knows, hey, that's attractive because success is attractive and success attracts other successful people. Like that's just how it is. Like the law of attraction here. If I'm going towards something, like that's why you're going to find most really good athletes are attracted to really good athletes, because guess what? Like it's not even the fact that they might be the most attractive person in the world. It's because they're going towards something that they love and they're passionate about. And that makes such a difference. And you surround yourself with those people because they're going to drive you further. Oh my God, what is it? You're the sum of, or the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, something like that. That is true. That is 110% true, because guess what? If you're surrounded by a bunch of freaking losers, guess what? Your mindset changes. You're going to think that's the norm. But when if you're surrounded by 5 people that are way better than you at what you're all doing, guess what happens? You're going to have to level up. You're going to have to live up to who your friends are, who you're around, and you're just going to better your life in general. So, mixing that in and knowing who you're with and knowing, that your friends or your significant other understands what you're trying to do, like that's important, because it's going to take time to win. It's going to take time away from other people, from other, obligations that you have. It's just inevitable. It's going to happen. So you have to be with people that support that understand that. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable. They're going to be miserable. And eventually that relationship breaks and those friends go away. And guess what? I had friends that are no longer friends because it wasn't there. They didn't understand. They're not going to understand, and you can't fight it. You can't force it. So, you just gotta, that's just the way life is at the end of the day. And as you grow, as you get older, as you understand things, then, you realize that, you see it. So, it's really difficult. Like they're not easy conversations. They're not easy things to break away from. But even now, I probably have friends that I'm not going to be friends with, because it's just, as I'm growing, maybe they don't grow, maybe we don't align. Like it's just how it is. And so, it's just a tough juggle there. It is. It's tough, but you got to do what you got to do if you want to be successful, if you want to do that. But in terms of juggling it all, I'll just say this, that people people will say to focus. People say, let's say in high school sports, to focus, right? They're wanting kids to focus on one sport. I played 4 sports. Was a Division I, Big Ten runner-up twice in one sport, but I played 4. I barely even did that sport in high school. And I see it all the time. Most of the best athletes played multiple. But I do find it is very difficult, right? For me, I have so many interests in so many different things. And I am, I can be pretty good at a lot of different things if I put my mind to it. But it's really difficult because I didn't get blessed with like loving that one thing. Like just like live and breathe. Like I look at like Mr. Beast, right, in YouTube, and most people will know him. If you don't, look him up. He's the biggest YouTuber in the world. When you hear his story, I mean, from 10 years old, the guy was obsessed with just making YouTube videos, making the best YouTube videos that he could possibly make. I didn't have that. Like when you have that just dying obsession, it is so much easier that he's just getting up and that's what he's going to do every day, because like that's just, he's so laser focused on that. Yes, absolutely. He's going to be just huge, right? Like he just was going to be big, because if you're doing that all day, every day in that one thing, you're going to become the best in the world at it. You will, but it's really difficult, because if you're like me, and you like sports and you like business and you like to go golf every now and then and you like to, hang out with friends every now and like, and a lot of different, like if you're doing that one single thing, it's really difficult. And it's like, what do I really like? How can I, where can I have that laser focus? That's what I've struggled with. And there's a lot of people like that. Like I look at what I like about like someone like Gary Vee. If you don't know him, I'll link him, look him up as well. But like he talks about a lot of different interests, and he talks about it being okay to have all these different interests, to talk about it, because there's billions of people in this world. And if I want to have a big podcast, if I want to have a big business or newsletter, I don't need that many people to have influence. I don't need that many people to be profitable and to have a very good company. I don't need that many people to have an impact on the world. And that's what's beautiful, is you don't necessarily have to become the biggest in one thing. Like it's okay to talk about sports, to talk about faith, to talk about business, to have separate interests, because guess what? If you talk about all that stuff, I like to listen to it. And I'm like, oh, I can relate to that. And there's tens of millions of people that will do the same thing. They'll be like, oh, I can really relate to that, because like, I don't have that one thing. I like a lot of different things. And guess what? If you're talking about gaming and I don't like gaming, I'll just skip over that. But it's okay, because you might hit someone that likes it. So, it's okay to juggle all of these different things and to feel like, maybe you don't have that laser focus and maybe you have the different interests, but I do think your vision and your vision they all still have to go somewhere, right? Your visions, they still have to have some alignment. And if they don't, that's when you're probably just going to you're building a bunch of paths that aren't going towards the same spot. And now you're kind of just wasting your time. So when you're doing that, like for me, like when I'm doing this, I still have that like one vision, right? With this podcast, for example, to like, I want anyone that listens to this to get some value, to where we can just get a little better in life every day, right? Where we can if I can change their mindset towards growth and towards getting better and success and thinking about it and going for it, then that's enough. But like, whether I talk about faith, sports, business, fitness, it doesn't matter, because it's all still towards like, hey, we're building that pyramid to that vision of getting better, of winning. And so, it's tough to juggle, like I said, but you can do it. You have to prioritize. You have to understand your foundations. For me, it's absolutely faith. And for me, it's family, and making sure that those two things are, 100%. And then I can attack the others. And you'll find that, right? It's not easy. It's going to be a process, but like, just play with it, mess around, trial and error. It's okay to fail, but you gotta go. You gotta jump in and you gotta go for it, and you gotta just keep going. If you like different things, talk about them. Go for them, learn, but just make sure your vision's all aligned. Okay. So, it's tough. It is. But you have someone here, you got a friend that, that deals with the same thing, that struggles with the same thing. And, for me, I've found Frost Buddy, and I found, fitness and certain things that I absolutely do love, and I love doing every day. I love talking about. So, you will find it. The more things that you try, the more things you'll find that you're like, oh, I like this better than this. I like, I can resonate with this more, something like that. But really you just gotta if you're going to do it all, you got to do it hard and you got to do it great with every single thing, because it's not worth just half-assing a bunch of different things. It's really not. So it's kind of a tough question, honestly. I'm not going to lie. So if you think someone could find some value there, share it with them, let them know. But, like I said, every single person's different, and, every situation is different, and what you're going to have to juggle is different. But at the end of the day, like, you really do you got to find the priority. What's that foundation that you have to have every single day, that you have to have in your life, that make all the others a little easier? Okay. And for me, like, again, if I don't have God, if I don't have faith, then what am I really doing? Because if I'm chasing these materialistic things, if I'm chasing money, or if I'm chasing cars, if I'm chasing these houses, like, I'm going to come up empty. You don't want to be there, because I see people all the time do it. And it's just, I'm like, why do I don't need that. Do I love building? Do I love the grind? And do I love, like, chasing something that I feel like is achievement and success? Absolutely. But that's a different place to be than just chasing what's material. So I know, that's a lot. Sorry if I ranted a little bit there, but I do get passionate about that, because I do like a lot of different things. And if you're like me, then just, you got to figure it out. It's not easy, but just, prioritize, plan accordingly, and, just listen, take what I said, and see if you can't look at your own life and see what might need change, or what can be fixed, or what you can try. Because, I am confident that if you really just step back, look at what your priorities are, then you can certainly cut some things out that you're currently doing that are holding you back from where you need to be, or where you want to go, or who you want to be. Oh man, that was the punchline right there. I think I need to end it on that one. Take a step back and see what needs to be cut out. See what the priorities are. Write it down. See what you want and what's the most important things in your life, and attack it. Okay? That's all I got today. So I'm going to go. But I feel like it was a pretty decent one. Keep sharing the show. Let's see if we can't get to like 1,000 downloads every episode. I think it'd be kind of cool, right? Send in some name ideas if you want. I still not wild about the Frost Buddy podcast, but it's all right. It's all right. So don't forget, check me out on LinkedIn. Go subscribe there, or not subscribe. Subscribe to the newsletter on LinkedIn, but go just connect with me on LinkedIn if you want to. I actually got a TikTok now, so I need to be posting some of these on TikTok. But yeah, share the show, Frost Buddy podcast. Just have a great day. All right.